All right, so let's solve systems of equations by graphing. There's a couple of ways to do systems of equations. Today I'm going to show you by graphing. Monday I'm going to show you to do it without a graph. I've kind of just shown you how to do it on the calculator. If anybody's watching this video, sorry Caitlin, then they missed out on the calculator. They need to come see one of us so we can teach them, right? That's it. Just find somebody, Caitlin, find somebody in this room and ask them. So let's look at this first equation. It's got y equals negative x plus 2. What's the number with the x there?
1.
It's a ninja, right? It's just hiding there. The second equation is y equals 4x plus 1. Above these equations, I'm going to write, and I'm going to keep them in line with everything below, I'm going to write y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to keep them all together. So the reason I did that is I can circle down the plus b all the way through the negative 1, circle all this. That's my y-intercept for those two equations, right? Yes? And the same thing over here with the m. I can circle down, make sure you pick up the negatives, don't let them fall, and that's my m. So now I know both the y-intercept and the slope for each equation. You agree?
Yes.
So let's look at that first equation. Sit down. Let's look at that first equation. What is the y-intercept?
2.
Positive 2. So I put my line at positive 2. What's the slope of that first line?
Negative 1x.
Negative 1. Which side is it going to rise to?
Left.
The left. So negative 1, I rise 1 and go negative 1. And I'm going to do it twice so I can get a pair. Oh. Remember, negative 1 is just negative 1 over 1, right? And then I draw my line. So now I've got a line, right? Everyone like your line? Announce to your partner that my line's prettier than yours. Lane, no more squiggles. Don't be squiggling on me. So, I got one line done. I'm actually going to label that line just so I know what's going on. And that line was y equals negative x plus 2, right? I'm going to label that line. And the only reason I'm doing that is so later on I don't get confused. When you do these equations and you have multiple lines, it helps if you know what they are. Let's look at the second line. What is the y-intercept? Lexi, did you see that? Negative 1. So I get my dot there. What's the slope on that one?
Negative 1.
Negative 4, right? So it's really negative 4 over 1, and it means it's going to the left, right? So I rise 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I go across 1, which kind of is funny. It puts me around that line, doesn't it? Then I do the same thing again. Rise 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and go 1. I've got 2 points. Now I can lay this down. I like having 2 points because it lets me know that I not made a boo-boo. Hey, boo-boo. Let's get.
You could have. It would just been a bad mess up.
And I'm going to label that line too. Now, I'm going to circle. This is their intersection, right? That's the point that if I put it in either equation, it'll make it true.
Whoa.
You remember how to do that on a calculator? Well, let's find out. So what point is this? Gavin, what do you got there? No, not on a calculator there, teacher. What's the point? Remember, x is always left or right. So we went to negative 1, right? And how far do we go up?
3.
3. So that's where they intersect. So let's test it. Let's apply the equations back with x and y being -1 and 3 respectively. So let's go to that first one. The first equation was y, which now is 3, right? 3 equals -1 times -1 plus 2. What's -1 times -1?
1.
What's 1 plus 2?
3.
So this is a true equation, right?
Yes.
Let's go to the second one. So 3 equals -4 times -1 minus 1. So what's -4 times -3?
-3.
4.
Oh, it's -4. -4 times -1 is 4. What's 4 minus 1? Is that equation true?
Yes.
So we found the solution where both parts meet together. Think about this in budgeting. You have so much money in a month, but you want to go do some activities. So you can calculate the point where you can do the most activities with the least money or the money that you have and figure out what you can pull off. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If you go to the movie, how much popcorn can you buy? You're not going to Icon, so you have to buy new popcorn. Icon, you just keep refilling that stuff until you're sick to your stomach.
I never can finish a full tub.
No, my dogs do when I get home.
I get it so it's like that.
Okay, so let's look at number 2. It says, during school vacation, Marquise wants to go bowling and play laser tag. I want to do some stuff on my vacation. Bowling and laser tag. This guy is quite exciting. Raiden's just blown away by the excitement level here. He wants to play a total of 6 games. But he needs to figure out how many each he can play if he spends exactly $20. Each game of bowling is $2, and each game of laser tag is $4. Good so far?
Sounds like he's got an issue.
He's not going to
So x, let x equal bowling, and y equal laser tag. Right? Everyone got that? So we're going to write a system of equations that describes the situation, and then write the equations in the slope-intercept form and graph them.
Yeah, they have enough
Already had
time
these.
with extra.
How many total games do they want to play?
6.
So 6 becomes an important number. 6 equals the number of games of bowling and the number of games of laser tag. What is bowling represented by?
B.
X. So x plus y. 6 equals, the total games is 6, is the number of bowling games and the number of laser tag games. Good so far?
Yeah, I know the answer.
Good. Now let's talk about the money. How much money?
20.
$20, and that equals, what does $20 equal?
4 games of laser tag and 2 of bowl.
It's the cost of the games, of number of games, bowling games we do, plus the cost of the number of games of laser tag we do, right? So how much does bowling cost?
2.
So 2x, the number of games of bowling, plus how much does each laser tag game cost? Plus 4y. Remember, laser tag is y, bowling is x. I've got 2 equations, right? What format are both these written in, even though they're backwards? What format are they written? Are they written as Y-Intercept? What format? We talked about it already. Standard format.
Y equals in.
So let's convert these to y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to go on my side here. So I've got 6 plus x, 6 equals x plus y. How do I get y by itself?
Move the X over to the 6.
Move the x. Are you following along, or are you just chilling? You're not doing what I'm doing.
I can't see.
I stopped it.
What do you mean you can't see? Then you ask, right? Or you move a little. So I got 6 equals x plus y. To move the x to the other side, I subtract it from both sides. Here's a little fence. I subtract it from both sides. So I get And I'm going to write this in Y-intercept format, so x comes first, right? Negative x plus 6 equals y. And I can invert that, can't I? That's the same thing as saying y equals negative x plus 6, isn't it? I just now flip both sides, and I'm back to a y equals mx plus b form. You good? So let's do the next one, which is 20 equals 2x plus 4y. There's a little more work on this one, but not a ton. So how do I get the x up this side?
You're gonna do negative, you're gonna like add.
So negative 2x from both sides. I end up with negative 2x plus 20 equals 4y. Well, I can't have y with a 4, can I? Because I need it alone. How do I get the 4 away from it?
Minus 4.
You would just do
If I subtract, I'll lose the whole thing.
negative.
Think about this. I've got a
Divide.
coefficient with my variable.
Divide.
To get it off, I have to divide. I divide by the coefficient, and I divide everything by the coefficient. So over here I get, what's negative 2 over 4? What's negative 2 over negative 4?
Negative 2 over negative 4.
Come on. Simplify, y'all.
It would be negative 0.5.
We don't go to fractions if we can hold
I
it.
think it's
Negative
2.
1/2. Negative 0.5.
We don't go to fractions.
Negative 1/2.
Negative 1/2, thanks.
Well, I said
If you go to fractions in your slope, you're going to make your life hard. What's 20 divided by 4?
5.
And that equals now just y. And then I can flip this, so it equals y equals negative 1/2 plus 5. Do I have two equations now?
Wait, did you not keep the x on the 2x?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Thank you. I dropped it up here. It cost me. I now have two equations, right? I can now plot it. Let's go to that first equation. What's the y-intercept? I've got y equals negative x plus 6. What's the y-intercept?
6.
6. Reed, do you understand this? So I go up to 6 and I put the line there. What's my slope? Negative 1. So it's going to rise to the left, right? So I'm going to go down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. Now I can draw that line, can't I? Yay, I'm a senior. And this line actually doesn't have to be a line, an arrow, if you don't want it, because once he's out of money, you can't go into the negative things. This is not go tell Dad, hey, I need some money for bowling day.
It's,
Can't do it. Dad's not going to do it.
but what if you have credit?
Credit is another thing, and
That
using
can
it for
play
bowling and
right.
laser tag is probably not a good choice. If you take the girl out and use your credit card, she's going to think this guy wastes money, which means our whole life is going to be arguing about finances.
Or you just take.
Let's do the second one. What's the y-intercept?
5.
5. So I put my dot there. And what's my slope? Negative 1/2. So drop 1, run 2. Drop 1, run 2. And draw the line. So I've got a point where they come together, don't I? So what's that point?
Intersection.
What is it?
Would be
Comma 5. 2.
would it be
3, 4, comma 2.
It's always x first.
2, comma 4.
2, comma 4. So x is 2 and y is 4. So he can bowl 2 times and play laser tag 4 times. How would we check to make sure of this?
I got a question.
Yes, sir?
Why can't you just do 3 of each?
Because he doesn't have money.
You multiply 2.
2 plus 2 plus 2.
You do 2 to.
18 bucks.
It's 20.
You'd be spending 18 bucks.
But he wants to spend all 20.
Oh, then he has
And what he doesn't spend, he has to give back to mom and dad. So he's like, wants to get it all done. I've watched some of you guys go on band trips and they'll give you some money and you buy everything you can. You come out with this bag of things.
No, I just pocket the rest.
Yeah, exactly. I just keep the rest of
No,
the
he has 20.
Okay.
4 times 4, that's
Say you spend all
that's 16. Then plus 4 more. That's 20.
Yes,
He did
he's
math wrong.
he spent it all.
Yeah, he did math wrong.
Yeah, he did. All right, so let's compare it. Let's go up here. 6 equals if x is 2 plus 4. What's 2 plus 4?
6.
Does that equation work? Let's put this one. 20 equals 2 times 2. What's 2 times 2?
Yeah.
4 plus 4 times 4. That's y. What's 4 times 4?
16.
So 4 plus 16 is?
20.
So that one checks, right? There's our answer. That's what he can do. He can bowl twice and laser tag 4 times.
And you like it.
And that's better anyway. Laser tag's more exciting. Any question on system of equations using graphing?
I would just do all laser tag.
I just do all side skating if it wasn't
Well, he wants to get the most bang for his buck.
Do all laser tag.